and gentlemen, I don't know what this is. It looks like it just came out of the basement.
Master. Worldwide. Master. Master something.
Welcome back in. It's another podcast, MasterBetting. I'm Nugs, as always, joined by Ferg. Ferg, it's a big day today for you. How are you doing?
Good, brother. Good. Why is it such a big day for me today? I know that I had a Monday work day and it was productive and whatnot, but why is it a big day for me?
So I want you to bring back, I'm not sure if you remember an episode that we had back in our first season. Remember, listeners, we're on season 3 now, but back in our first season, we had an episode called Alex Morgan. And you infamously described on these airwaves that I think it was between Corey Seager, Troy Aikman, and Michael Jordan. If I'm going off the top of my head, one of those men you'd for $100,000 do things to. And but Corey Seager is one of them, am I correct?
I don't know if he was, but he is,
It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Corey Seager.
Oh, dude, I should have put my Siegs jersey on, dude.
I should have told you
Should
before.
I should do a quick wardrobe change, but
I don't know
I
if I got much.
got my Cowboys jersey on for the draft. We got some draft talk today, so I did wear my Cowboys jersey.
Love it. Well, yeah, we'll get it before we get into that. Just anything new over the past week since we last touched base? I think there's a lot we want to get into what happened in the sporting world, but anything in Ferg's
definitely.
life?
It's just another week, another loss for the 8U Steelers flag football team. We got ran out of the building. Well, not on a building. We were on a field. We got ran off the field by the Chiefs team that had some players, man. They had some good athletes. Again, week to week, we're seeing improvement with our team, but we got to get a W this week, man. We got to get these kids a W.
Yeah. It's all for the love of the game. They're probably not having a lot much fun. The other stuff you could be doing on their Saturday, both the coaches and the kids, you got to get some wins.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's all for fun at that age, Ferg, but it's a lot more fun when you do win. So,
100%, man.
Best of luck to you next week. Minus 5,000 on whoever you're playing.
That's probably you're probably giving a deal with those odds. No, we got the Seahawks this week and they are also 0-4, or 0-5. So it's a battle of Titans, if you will.
Something's got to give.
Best team, may the best team win. But we got 3 weeks left on the flag football, and then we move on. I move on to the Parker Hawks team. We just got our roster this week, and we start up in a few weeks. Got some coaches meetings coming up in the next few weeks as well.
Well, I'm sure as was the case was last season, we will be hearing all about the progress and to our listeners, you're getting essentially what 8th grade football Hard Knocks every week. So just another reason to tune into MasterBetting. You get Hard Knocks 8th grade version from Ferg. Anyways, Ferg, not a lot going over here. I mean, like I said, anything that, I made the mistake of really attaching a lot of my emotional happiness tied to 2 sports teams. And it's good when one's doing great and it's not so great when the other one's doing pretty bad. But obviously we're going to get into that. But I'd say for the broader sports community, we had the biggest event, one of the biggest events besides opening weekend and the Super Bowl. The NFL draft happened this past week, Ferg. And I know the Cowboys were much more active than the Broncos, but man, let's talk about the draft, dude. What'd you think?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good draft, as kind of could be expected. Dallas had a good draft. Jerry's a master drafter, and I think the Cowboys had a pretty good draft. I like that pick of Caleb Downs at 11. I thought that was really kind of an odd situation with that. Dallas was sitting at 12 and Miami was on the clock at 11. They must have thought that Miami was about to draft Downs because they traded up from 12 to 11 to select him. But honestly, a lot of the reports on Downs, safety out of Ohio State, a lot of the reports on him is that he's the best player in the draft. You got Mendoza, and of course there was 10 guys taken before him, but a lot of the talking heads, the McShays and Kuipers of the world, really like that Downs as maybe one of the better picks in the draft. And then there was we got an edge rusher later on in the first round. Didn't have a second round pick, but got back to it in the third round and took another edge rusher there. But I think that Downs pick was really one of the best picks in the draft. And I saw that, some of the draft scores out there, and the Cowboys were awarded a B on most of those draft boards for their performance this year. But I would rate it an A plus. Jerry's the master drafter.
This is the year. Yeah, man.
It's our year.
I did watch some of it. So I mean, that did fall on. So for, as a Denver sports fan, that was a huge night. You had the draft kicking off at 6:00 Mountain Time, and then you had the Avs and the Nuggets both playing that night. So I mean, I was looking forward.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I went and got Willie's Wings. If you haven't heard of Willie's Wings, shout out Willie's Wings out in Morrison. I know you're not a big wing guy, which is won't even get into it. But anyways, got Willie's Wings. Are looking forward to it. So I sat there and watched the draft, and the biggest thing, I mean, it was entertaining. I know a ton of Ohio State players. I can't remember what it was, but Caleb Downs was, I think, the 5th or 6th in the first 12 picks that came from the Ohio State. So
crazy.
Yeah, factory coming out of Columbus. But I just remember
and one of the best players on Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, he wasn't even eligible for the draft. So I mean, they're a loaded up team for sure.
So, and they're going to retool as they always do. But I remember sitting there. One of the biggest things I thought as I was watching the draft, because I did spend a good couple hours before the Nuggets and the Avs started, was, and this is a question my wife posed to me, is who would sit there? So would you go to a draft? There's a very real possibility, I would imagine, that it's going to be in Denver at some point within the next 5 to 7 years. They're rotating at cities now. I'd just be willing to guess, with the amount of money and how involved the ownership group from the Broncos is, I don't think it's far-fetched to see Denver have a draft.
Well, there's few better sports towns in the country.
I want to go and stand there for half a day just to see Roger Goodell go on a podium and announce names. I mean, I can't imagine. I think it was hundreds of thousands of people that went there. I mean, they shut down the Pittsburgh school system and put them on Zoom because of the draft. I don't know, Ferg. Would you go?
Man, I've thought about this so many times, and I kind of, like you, don't really get it. I mean, honestly, when it comes to me watching the draft, I probably spent maybe an hour and a half total throughout the entire draft watching it. And I get it. There's some good information you can glean from those guys about the players. So it is nice to watch them break down the picks in real time. But I definitely don't understand the NFL draft as a spectator event.
No, 100%. And then, like you, I did sit around and watch for probably total a little less than an hour and a half, but around there. It was good to have on in the background. But the Broncos didn't pick day one, and you heard it here last, or I guess I was completely wrong. I said the Broncos were going to trade one of their wide receivers and move into the draft, if not day one. Didn't happen, so let's scratch that one from the record. Completely wrong on that one. But the Broncos didn't draft until day 2, and they were picked number 62. Ended up trading back to 66, and then they took a defensive tackle. I can't remember from where now, but either way, defensive tackle, pretty uneventful for the Broncos, except for they did pick Mr. Irrelevant Verg. And just because of his name, I want this guy to succeed in the NFL. He needs to make the team. Linebacker out of Buffalo, the Buffalo Bulls, Red Murdoch. Tell me that's not a linebacker name. Red Murdoch.
Look, with a name like Red Murdoch, you've got to be something famous. You know what I mean? You can't just be a cashier with the name Red Murdoch.
Yeah, you're not
You
destined
know
for
what I
the
mean?
loaf and jug till.
No, no. Exactly. Well said. Yeah, exactly. But
I
there was
thought I
some
thought
pretty. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just looking up old Red Murdoch, I thought, he's just a guy that'd be drinking beers and smoking Marlboros in the parking lot. But after, doing a little bit more research, looking at his picture, he might be smoking some Swisher Sweets and drinking some Colt 45. But I'll leave
Yeah,
that there. What did you
urban
have on the
gentleman.
Ferg? Another
Urban gentleman.
yeah.
Exactly. Um, Well, I was just saying, man, there were some very interesting things that happened in the draft. We can talk about that. We talked about it briefly with the Cowboys trading up one spot, which was interesting. But then the Cowboys also traded in I guess it must have been in the third round. I don't remember what round it was. I think it was the third round. I think his name was Makai Lemon, wide receiver. And it was, this is one of the wildest draft stories that I think has ever come out. But the kid Lemon, was that the first round, Nugs? I can't remember
It was a
now.
first round. He's a wide receiver from USC.
USC, okay, and good wide receiver. So it was the first round because I remember it was a pretty important pick. But Mr. Lemon was on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had the next pick in the draft, and they were telling him that they were about to select him. And he's on the phone, like I said, on the phone with the Steelers, and he looks at his phone. And he's like, "Why is Philly calling?" And then you see a guy come into the uh, frame of the video, and he's like, "Philly just traded for you, man. Philly just traded up for you." And so he's literally on the phone with two Pennsylvania teams, Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh is telling him he's going to get drafted by them, and then Dallas trades away the pick to their interdivision rival, the Eagles. That just shows you how much the disdain still is there between the Cowboys and the Steelers. And it's like, we don't want to see them succeed, I think. And so they traded right out in front of their nose, and I thought that was pretty interesting as well.
It was. So, I mean, between that and then, Red Murdoch was the one that stood out to me. But it sounds like any things that stood out. I know that you're telling me about a couple
Brother,
things.
I've got some other draft stories here. There was the kid from Clemson, defensive tackle from Clemson. This is a hilarious picture. If you can go online, just look up Peter Woods draft day. And man, it was a wild scene. There was just a room full of, I don't know who they were, but mostly friends and family, I think. One white guy in the picture may have been Jewish, honestly, but one white guy and one non-black guy in the photo, and his mom, Peter Wood's mom, is literally wearing a wedding dress in the photo. And there's all these pictures without frames that are just kind of like taped to the wall. It's one of the most let's just say, I think this whole family is about to be on the come up. You know what I mean?
They're pumped. And what round is he?
I think he was a first round pick as well. Could have been second, but it's just a wild scene. Like, honestly, the mom in the wedding dress, you can stop there for me. I freaking killed me, dude. I love it.
Well, hopefully that guy has a good financial advisor coming out,
Yeah, no
because
shit. Yeah, he's
going
already
to
saying
see
his signing bonus is already gone.
Mama got a
I'm
house
just
and a car. Like, where am I going to live?
Probably.
Where am I going to live?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Another interesting story. This one is twofold, and I'm going to have to bring up this young man's name. There's, like I said, there's a lot of good draft stories out there, but I think this one's very interesting. A guy named U.R. Bernard. So I don't know if that's said his name right. It's spelled UAR and last name Bernard. He's out of Nigeria. He was drafted, but has never played a football game in his life. So this
What
kid was
position?
drafted. Well, I actually have no idea what position he is, but I mean, he can't be at skill position. So we're talking linebacker, edge rusher, lineman, something like that. You know what I mean? But so we got an a player that was drafted that's never played a game of football in his life. And then on the flip side of that coin, you had a Heisman finalist, Diego Pavia, who went undrafted, quarterback out of Vanderbilt. I mean, honestly, the kid, he beat Alabama the year prior, and then this past year he helped put Vanderbilt on the college football landscape. I mean, it's been a team that has not been good for most of its existence, and they had a pretty good season, and they were led by this Pavia kid. But I think it really just goes down to character. Character matters
Ferg,
to these NFL teams.
Ferg, I'm so glad and excited that you brought that up because he was one person I was thinking, and he was one that I was like Shadur of last year. He was the Shadur Sanders of last year. We're going into the draft and his attitude and how he acted at the Heisman Trophy ceremony and the
Yeah.
backlash that he got there. I wasn't rooting for the guy. I wasn't rooting for the guy one bit. And I was thinking about it. I'm wondering this guy's going to go. And then I had a fleeting thought, butterfly, squirrel, and I completely went out of my mind. So I'm so glad you brought him up. I just looked it up. So I'm glad to hear that he didn't get drafted. Eat a little bit of humble pie. He did accept an invitation to Ravens rookie minicamp. So
Okay.
God knows he's going to be going off the chip on his shoulder, but you're going into Ravens minicamp you're not going to be competing with Lamar. So,
No.
yeah, we'll see
But
how his NFL career plays out, but I am so
I think
happy
it,
to hear that and
yeah,
bring
I
that
hear
up
you,
first.
man.
Thank you.
I don't think you're the only one that doesn't like his antics very much, but it is, I think it's more than that as well. I mean, you're talking about a guy who is undersized. I don't have his height pulled up right now, but I would put him at probably 5'10", 5'9", so he's an undersized guy. He's got heart. I mean, as for whatever you think about the way he displays his heart, but I mean, the kid's got a high motor, good passion for the game, and a lot of heart. So we'll see, man. I hate to root against anyone, but I did find it somewhat satisfying that he left the draft, like the draft ended without him being selected. He had a huge draft party, had every NFL hat laid out on the table in front of him, and unfortunately didn't get to wear one.
Bummer. That's a bummer. I wonder how I took that. Probably smashed a little bit of drywall.
Oh,
But
bro, I can only imagine because I mean, he is entitled. Um, and then from kind of a break away from the opposite of that. We talked about the guy never playing. That's kind of the opposite of the Heisman finalist not getting selected, but kind of a feel good. Like, honestly, I loved seeing this, and it's the wide receiver out of Iowa, Caden Wetjen, believe was his name, and he wide receiver, like I said, he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 4th round, 121st overall. And he took the call from the Steelers to tell him that they were drafting him from the golf course. So love that. Guy
so
was
he
just
was like,
living
might
his
get
life.
drafted, might not get drafted. I'm just going to go live my life. And if they draft me, great.
Yeah.
Wonder how his game went after that. Either the adrenaline was up going through the roof and he probably couldn't hit a ball straight, or who knows, maybe it dialed him in. But that's a good story and a good place to get it.
I loved it. Yeah.
Shows selfish. But Ferg, you did bring up, and I'm surprised it took us this long to get here talking about the draft. I would say, there was that move for Makai Lemon, but you're talking about short quarterbacks, and then it triggered. We didn't talk about Ty Simpson. That was probably one of the bigger surprise moves of the first round. And there are some memes going around with Sean McVay not looking that pleased, but it is a good system. I mean, and I've heard with the limited pre-draft information and shows that I watched that some people had him in the first round, some people didn't. I know height was a big issue for some people it wasn't. But he gets drafted first round, and he gets to learn for a couple of years behind Matthew Stafford and in a really good offensive system in Sean McVay. So pretty good landing spot for him, but it was funny to see Sean McVay's face. I do remember hearing in all the pre-draft stuff, because Ty Simpson got one of the green room tables. He brought his family to the draft, and Les Snead, the GM for the Rams, told him, I guarantee you'll be chosen in the first round. So take that for what it is. Les Snead had a plan, so either way, that was, I know, I'd say a big quote unquote shocker that we're talking about on the broadcast in that first round.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. But good luck to him. I mean, I think he only had really one season as the starter. It was Jalen Milroe last year. I think his name was Jalen, but Milroe
Yep.
last year was the starter. And then Simpson came in, I think, when he was injured, maybe, and played a couple of games. But that was his first full year as a starter. So we'll see. I mean, he's an Alabama product. So, they always are getting blue chip guys, especially in those skill positions. So best of luck to Mr. Simpson. He's white. I'm white. I wish him the best.
Well, Frederick, as we move on, that's you know, I know we got the big topic for, I'd say, the podcast today is talking about both the NHL and mainly also the NBA playoffs. A lot to talk about there, but let's squeeze a little bit of NLB action. I know that the Rockies, you're talking about slowly but surely on the rise, coming off a 3-game sweep against the Mets. The Mets are terrible with a
Doubleheader
huge
yesterday.
payroll.
Wow, what a disappointment in New York this season. It's Francisco Lindor. I think he's a $175 million guy, and the effort is not there. I watched this video, this reel on socials the other day, and it was this guy was like the top 10 worst plays of the year. They were all Francisco Lindor, like giving minimal effort. Like at one point, he fielded a ball at the middle and jogged over to second for the second out and started jogging off the field. And like, bro, there's only 2 outs. Like, I mean, he's notoriously bad against the slider, him and Javi Baez. But, it's one of those things where the Mets, I hate it to, again, root for failure, but I'm not a Mets fan.
No.
So.
No, I mean, I will say when it comes to the Subway, I guess there was that Subway series way back so many years ago, which was pretty cool. But I will say I root for the Mets over the Yankees, but still, I don't really care either way. But it is fun to see the Rockies. They are inching, slowly but surely. I mean, it took them till June 2nd of last year to hit 10 wins. And right now, as we stand on April 27th, they're at 13. So progress.
I was looking at the standings yesterday, going over that a little bit. The Yankees do have the best record in the league right now, followed by, I think it's the Braves with the best record, followed by the Yankees and then the Dodgers. But I was looking across the league, and there's a lot of, the first month of the season, there's a lot of parity in this league. There's a lot of, similar records throughout the division. So it'll all shake down for sure. But I love seeing competition, man. And these guys are, the closer the division race is, the better for me.
Absolutely. And that's all I want. I mean, if I can ask for that's even, and like I said, progress. If we can come out of the All-Star break and the Rockies still have a minuscule chance at a wild card, I'll take that as progress. Baseball is so much more fun when you get into August and September and you're fighting for that wild card spot. Division's probably out of the realm of possibilities with the Dodgers, but keep it interesting for the wild card. That's all I ask.
Man, I agree. And, to your point, I think I've maybe mentioned this, maybe we've talked about this on previous episodes, but, I've seen Super Bowls. Denver has won a Super Bowl with me living here. The Avalanche have won a couple of Stanley Cups, at least since I've lived here. There's a lot of, the Nuggets won a championship couple of years ago as well.
You've seen some parades.
Yeah, we've seen some parades and seen some things, but one of the most electric times that I can remember in Denver sports history was Rocktober, when they went to the World Series, got swept by the Red Sox, but I think that was 2006. But it was one of the best times in Denver sports memories for me.
100%. I think a lot of people, I was 20 years old when that happened, Ferg, so born in 1987, so maybe not many people after that. So maybe say 1990 or before, probably have some really good stories about Rocktober and what you bet if you were living in Denver at that time, because it was electric. Ferg, last a couple things that I want to touch on baseball before the next episode. So one, the Rockies play the Reds coming up. That's their next series. I don't know who they have later on over the weekend, but F the Reds. They've screwed up a couple of our bets, so I don't think I'll be
Yeah,
touching
fuck
the
them.
Rockies.
Fuck that whole
But
city.
little teaser, I do know that the Rangers actually paid a little bit of attention to your team because I'll tease this in a bet. So I do have the Rangers in a bet that I'll broadcast. This episode will be coming out on April 28th, so it's relevant to that day. I do have the money line, Rangers beating the Yankees, DeGrom on the hill. So go Rangers. But Ferg, I was looking at the standings today, like you're mentioning or talking about. The Rangers are 500 right now. They're 500 on the road, 500 at home. So something's got to give. Maybe hopefully they lose today to the Yankees, so tomorrow they can go 500 and I could hit that one leg of my bet. But we'll get to that when we get to our
Yeah.
bets.
Yeah, I think it's more than anything right now for the Rangers. It's and with any team, it all really comes down to pitching. Rangers have one of the best in the league with Jacob DeGrom, and they've got Nathan Eovaldi, who I think is very good. They picked up Mackenzie Gore in the offseason, and I think he's a fantastic young pitcher. But I think they're just fine, struggling to find their groove a little bit.
They're still in the
Put
favorite. I think
everything
they're
all
second or
together.
third in their division, but still,
Yeah,
go Rangers. Got money on them tomorrow.
there
But
we go.
sweet. Well, good talking a little bit of baseball with you, Ferg. That was probably the most baseball I've been engaged with in a while. So thank you for that.
Love it.
But
Yeah, of
let's
course.
get on it. I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it quickly. I mean NHL playoffs. A couple things to mention there. Avs, congrats to the Avs. They swept the Kings. I think everyone didn't necessarily see a sweep come in, but I think a lot what I was hearing is Avs in 5 at the very worst. So
Yeah.
they swept the Kings. So it's nice. They'll probably have about a week break. They're going to play the winner of the Stars or the Wild, and they're 2-2 right now. Next game on Tuesday, the 28th. And that game could very well go 7. And as an Avs fan, you're rooting for that. You want these two teams to beat each other up. Then they got to come to Denver and play you after a short turnaround. So
Yeah.
go Avs. Congrats to them. A couple other notes.
Yeah, the
Buffalo
Canes moved
looking
on
good.
too.
What's that?
The
Canes
Hurricanes,
moved on.
second team that has already moved on. They swept as well.
Yep, we called that on the last episode.
Yep.
So, Ferg, and I will say my Buffalo Sabres, who I picked to win the Eastern Conference, are looking pretty good. They're up 3-1 against the Boston Bruins coming back to Buffalo. Your Penguins, they staved off a sweep. They're down 3-0 to the Flyers, and they pulled one out in Philly. They're bringing it back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can rally. I know you
Keep
picked
hope
your spirit
alive.
animal, but keep that bet alive.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it honestly, it was not. I did not expect this. I expected them to be in for a good series, but I did not expect them to go down 3-0 in the series and have to try to crawl back from. I think it's 3.8% odds that they were gonna win this series. So it may be a little higher now after that win last night, or 2 nights ago. But we'll see. We'll see.
I will say in any sport, that 3-0 deficit, the most comebacks that have happened, and I wouldn't say it's regular by any means, and it is definitely a rarity, but the NHL is where it can happen the most. They can win at home and make it 3-2. Just got to win a couple hockey games. So I'm not counting you out. I would love for this, for the sake of the MasterBetting podcast, to be Penguins, Sabres in the finals. Not sure that's going to happen,
Well,
but time will tell.
they're up
And then
2-1 right now in their game.
they are.
Penguins are up 2-1, so go Pens.
Nice. And then I'll tie all this back in, but I wanted to add another bet. I know I mentioned that I was going to pick the Rangers money line for my Tuesday master bet. And then as far as the Sabres and Sabres and the Bruins go. So in 3 of their 4 games so far, or 3 of the 4, they've gone over 6 goals, Ferg. And right now the over-under's at 5.5. Last game, Buffalo Sabres scored 4 goals in the first period, ended with a 6-1 win. 5.5. I have the Sabres Bruins game going over 5.5. So that is my second leg of my master bet. So far, for as we're going along, I got the Rangers money line and I got Sabres Bruins over 5.5.
Love it. Love it. Well, I haven't put any future bets in. Keep an eye on the social channels. One thing that I will say is I'm looking at the Thursday MLB lineup, and I will be putting in another Thursday MLB matinee parlay. So look for that on Thursday morning, because got some good matchups going on the hill.
Absolutely can't wait for it. Well, Ferg, NHL keeps plugging along, and then that brings us to the NBA. And you know what? You're a little bit more, I'd say I'm a tiny bit more biased. I know you're a Nuggets fan after a Cavs fan, but Cavs fan, excuse me, Mavs fan, Cavs, Mavs, whatever. After a Mavs fan, I mean, some wild things have been going on in the NBA, most notably with the series with the Nuggets and in the Timberwolves and Ferg. Last time the Nuggets have not won a fucking playoff game since we've been on these airwaves, since our last episode. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
it's been tough. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. Joker has not been playing up to his potential. And, I mean, Dante DiVincenzo for the Timberwolves tore his Achilles, their starting point guard out of Villanova. He tore his Achilles. He's out for the rest of the playoffs and probably out for a good portion of the season next year. And then Anthony Edwards, he has a bone bruise, and he had a bone bruise that he suffered in the last game between the Nuggets and Timberwolves. So they're without their arguably two of their best players, and the Nuggets still can't close them out or can't even catch a game. I mean, like I said, they went up 1-0 on the Timberwolves, and then let Minnesota steal one in Denver, and then Minnesota won both of theirs back in Minnesota, Minneapolis. So we'll see how this goes. I expect the Nuggets to rebound tonight and catch a W this evening. So I will tell you right now, as a master bet, I'm just going to do one single leg master bet today, and that's the Nuggets. I'm going to put my bankroll on the Nuggets money line.
Love it. Yeah, Furry, I got some action on that too. And obviously the podcast will come up after that game is done. But I think if the Nuggets are worth anything with the veterans in that locker room, they got to pull this game out, especially not having Edwards and DiVincenzo. I know that both of those happened early. DiVincenzo happened within the first 4 or 5 minutes of game 4.
Right.
And happened closer to halftime. But so I could see the Timberwolves rallying around their guys and going off pure emotion, but you're back home. They're missing their starting backcourt. You've got to pull this out. Well, I will say, Ferg, that the last time that a team has come back from down 3-1, it has been the Denver Nuggets, and that was back in 2021, and they did it both in the first round against the Utah Jazz and the second round against the LA Clippers. Do I think it's going to happen this time? No, but I definitely think they get the win tonight, and they got to show us something. Because, Ferg, I'm going to back up a little bit because I could rant about this. So Monday we record. That night, watch the game. And it was actually a close game. The Nuggets were leading towards the end. Wolves end up pulling it out at home. Jaden McDaniels goes in an interview, and he doesn't call out the Nuggets team. He calls out player by player. He calls out Jokic. He calls out Murray. He calls out Cam Johnson. He calls out Aaron Gordon and says they can't defend. They're just bad defenders. And if they're trying to play defense, we're just more athletic. So you're thinking that Thursday night, I had got my Willie's wings. The Avs are playing. NFL draft is going. It's supposed to be a great night. The Nuggets are going to come back and smack them in the mouth. Within a minute, Jaden McDaniels gets an and one alley-oop, kind of sets the tone. The Nuggets get boat raced from start to finish, completely disappointing. And then Saturday, game 4, he has a layup in the last second of the game as the Wolves already winning, I think by 12 or 13 points, has a layup.
10. They were up 10. I think they won by 12.
Yep. Goes back. So everyone else is just standing, wait for the clock to run out. He runs it down, scores a layup. Jokic takes exception to it and gets in his face, as he should. But where's this emotion? This guy's been punking you now for the better part of a week, and you wait until the last second of getting beat again, and the devastating loss to come up and do something about it, and it cost him $50,000. I don't know. It's been disheveled, to say the least, Ferg.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't mind Jokic. Sorry, I have trouble with his name. J, it's a soft J, and I just always put that hard J
Eastern
on
European.
there. Yep. But Jokic, I don't mind him doing that. He had a quote after the game where they asked if he regretted it, and he was like, "No, I don't regret it." He's like, he scored when everybody else had quit playing. And that statement right there kind of spoke to me. I was like, yeah, exactly. Fuck that dude. Like, honestly, you had the game in hand. What are you doing? What are you doing? Trying to add insult to injury? Well, now we're going to add injury to your insult. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing I'd wish, and that's where I do love hockey, Ferg, is if someone came out, and granted they don't get real mouthy in the press that often, but I was hoping you got to foul Jaden McDaniels hard. You got to let him know you're there. And not only did he get that alley oop and one, he punked with 4 minutes left in the game, drove through the lane.
Yep.
No one even played any defense and had a highlight reel dunk. I mean, it's like, where's your cojones? Ferg, I did hear, this is completely unrelated. Let me get off my rant that Jokic's underwear got stolen after game 4. So, not sure if there's any
That's
truth to
weird,
that.
man.
It is weird. Weird people in Minnesota. So,
Yeah.
anyways, Ferg. So, and that brings some other things that in the NBA playoffs that I don't say it's been weird. I mean, I didn't see the Lakers being up 3-0 against the Rockets. That happened. And I told you about last week my super safe 7-leg parlay. 2 of those NBA games did not pan out for me. I had the Celtics minus 13.5 against the against the 76ers. Sixers won. And you have the Trailblazers beating the Spurs. The Blazers have been playing the Spurs pretty tough.
Yeah. Well, Wemby was out that game, and so Spurs are up 3-1 in the series. My pick for the Western Conference champion. They're up 3-1, so they did lose that game when Wemby. That was a brutal injury. Did you see that Wemby concussion when he went face down,
Face
knocked
first.
him out?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was brutal to watch. I hate seeing that, but he was out the next game, and that's the only game that the Trailblazers have taken from the Spurs. So they're still doing really well. Yeah, Thunder are just trucking the Suns. I don't see anything changing with that series, but I'm going to go out and say it right now. I think that the odds are in the Nuggets' favor to come back and complete this series win. With those 2 stars out indefinitely, I think the Nuggets have a real good chance. So I'm going to put it right. I told you I'm going to put my bankroll on the Nuggets tonight, but I think what I'm going to do is take $10 and put it on the Nuggets to win the series, and then the rest of the bankroll on the Nuggets.
Love it. I was thinking about that too. So let's see how that goes. I'd love to see it right now. Just seeing.
Yeah.
Have you been watching the game start to finish, or you just been kind of poking around as the playoffs have been
I've
going
been poking
on?
around, man. I haven't watched any of these games start to finish. I'm flipping back and forth. There's a lot of action, man. There's a lot of hockey playoffs. There's baseball, and of course the NBA playoffs going. And so there's a lot of action. So I'm kind of going back and forth, and then I'll get out of the house and do something, and then get back to it. So no, I haven't watched many full games, but definitely keeping abreast of the situation, if you will.
Love it. You are right. There's a lot of action going on. Well, Ferg, I do want to call out a few different things. So I'll call out a little bit of outreach as far as bets go. But I talked about my super safe 7 parlay. Talked about the couple legs that didn't hit. That was not safe. I hit 3 of the 7, so we'll wipe that one under the rug. And then Ferg, tonight to get back. I do have the Nuggets winning. I do have the Thunder winning, and then I have the Detroit Pistons winning. Nuggets and Thunder, I'd say, are definitely favorites. They're both around minus 500. And then the Pistons, man, they got to figure something out. They're in serious jeopardy of dropping that series and getting upset by the Orlando Magic, but hopefully they can win. I think it was only plus 128 odds, so that's what I do have rolling live tonight. I want to call out Dro. She's got the Nuggets on the money line. She's got a Cam Johnson 3 made threes, Jamal Murray 4 made threes, 30+ points for Jamal Murray, and Jokic 55 points, rebounds, and assists. So go Nuggets. A lot of money riding on the Nuggets.
Yeah, definitely. So they need to do it. That's all there is to it.
And then Ferg, with the NBA, I did want to call this out. I told you about it, and I did throw it up on a live story on the Instagram. It was kind of last minute, but something that has panned out now twice for me is, so this Houston Lakers games, they've been having real low unders. One of them was 205, one was 206. The game, I believe their next game, if I look it up correctly, it's Wednesday. It's at a 208 over under. I'm riding that, seeing if I can make it 3 in a row. Lakers,
Yeah.
Rockets over 208 on Wednesday. like I said, I hit 2 in a row on that. One of those was published on Instagram, so that's another bet I got going on this week.
Love that, man. Yeah, I like that a lot. What is it that I was going to say? Oh yeah, KD's been out for Houston in that series, so I think that probably contributes to the Lakers being up as much as they are as Durant's out. So hopefully he gets back in and they can make it a better series. But yeah, man, I mean that seems to be a pretty good. You're like you said, they've ran that over for the last 2 games in a row. So look to keep that riding, man. They keep barely increasing that over, and it doesn't sound like it's enough.
So over 208, that's my lock for the week. And then Ferg on top, I'm just going to recap my bet now that we've hit all 3 sports. I got the
Yo.
Texas Rangers money line against the Yankees. I got the Sabres and Bruins over 5.5. And then I didn't actually call this out. I do have the Celtics finishing off the 76ers. I know I did it last week and it bit me in the ass. I think they get it done this time at the Garden. Give me Celtics minus 11.5. That will be posted on our socials, and that's what I have for Tuesday, April 28th, Ferg. Click, motherfucking clack.
Love it, bro. Love it. One more thing before we get out of the NBA. My boy Cooper Flag edged out Con Knipple for the NBA Rookie of the Year. They just announced that today. So congrats to Cooper Flag.
Congrats to Cooper. I saw that too right when we were getting on. So we talked
Yep.
about it. You heard it here first. You heard it from the Master Betters. We predicted this. It
That's
happened.
rare.
That's But Fergie, you're
Yep.
telling me about some early you have some exciting news I think you want to tell me about.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. Regarding some technologies that are new to the market.
Oh yeah. I was gonna get into that just a second. But I think now's just as good as time as any. I've been teasing this for a little while now, and it's our boy Aaron. He has created a sports card, well, not even just sports card, a trading card grading app. As you know, grading trading cards is big business. You get those Gem Mint 10s. If you get it graded with a Gem Mint 10, you're going to it's going to dramatically improve the value of the card. Now I don't think that, you know, every card is worth grading, but especially if you've got some older cards, some good Jordans and, some good conditions. But even if you pull or buy something that is, a really highly sought after card, you're going to want to get those graded. And so our boy Aaron has created this this sports grading app called Snap Slab. And it's just chock full of info. And I mean, he spent a lot of time on this. So if you're buying, selling, or trading sports cards, or even Pokemon cards, you need to check out Snap Slab. Just snap a photo of any card and it instantly shows you the grade, recent comp sales, and market data. So you always know what you're working with before you make a move. No more guessing, no more leaving money on the table. Download Snap Slab free on the App Store today. There is a subscription with that. If you do enjoy the app, you can use your subscription to get all kinds of data when it comes to sports cards. You're talking about they do a card of the day every day that they'll break down, give some value, talk about the player. It was Roman Anthony, the rookie for the Red Sox, most recently when I looked at it, and they had one of his cards. And it's the reason I bring up that is it's super relevant. This was Roman Anthony is increasing in popularity since the USA, the World Baseball Classic. He was a member of that team, and so he's kind of shot up in value. But it's just really cool. It keeps you on the forefront of the card trading game. And let me tell you, it's not just a grading app. That is really one of the main functionalities of this app is to, kind of give you the best, I don't want to say recommendation, but basically it's going to give you if it thinks you should grade it, it's going to tell you to send it. If it thinks you should hold on to it, it's going to tell you to hold on to it. And that's just only scratching the surface of what this app can do. It is really, really well put together. I recommend it 10 out of 10. And I love trading sports cards. I love the ripping packs and, getting things out there. And it's just it's a fun hobby. And this Snap Slab is something that I think can be of great value to, trading card collectors.
Huge value to sports fans, huge value to our listeners. Snap Slab,
Yeah.
Ferg, as you were talking and given the lowdown on it, I downloaded it to my phone. So look forward to checking out what my stuff's worth. Tron down in Texas, Beavercats LLC, another avid trading card, sports trading memorabilia, trading cards. He's been doing it through eBay. Dude, dust it off. Get Snap Slab. Freaking nice work.
eBay is going to really be your best place for buying and selling individual cards. But this is going to
Give
can you hear
value.
me?
Yeah.
Hold on just a second, Nugs. My mixer went out. Can you hear me?
You're loud and clear.
Okay, good. My mixer just went out on me, so I don't know what happened there, but I apologize. But yeah, it's not for buying and selling cards. It's more for the just seeing if your card is something that's gradable and worth sending off. So really good.
Okay. Right on. Look forward to more. Can you hear me, Ferg?
I definitely can. Yeah. I apologize.
All right, perfect. Right on. Well, Ferg, Snap Slab, download it, check it out. Like I said, I'm calling out you, Tron, down in Arizona. Ferg, I also did want to thanks for bringing value to the listeners. We're bringing something every week, Ferg.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really it. It's something that we try to get outside of just parlays and straight bets. We want to bring some different stuff and different value to our listeners. And our buddy Aaron, your boy Aaron, took a lot of great detail in creating this app. Took a lot of time to get everything right. And he's our first sponsor of the podcast. So shout out to our boy Aaron and Snap Slab. Get that downloaded and let's start grading those cards and getting them, start building bankroll every way you can. Start stacking that cash. Click, motherfucking clap.
Sell card, move it to app. Sell card, move cash to betting app. Win on sports betting, listening to Master Betting. I mean, I'm seeing a line here, Ferg, a line of progression.
It's cyclical.
So, yeah, it's freaking love it. Ferg, love it. You know what? One thing I did forget that I wanted to share with you. So last night on a couple of hockey games, I had the Tampa Bay Lightning, another series, Tampa Bay Canadians. Those games have been going to overtime. Montreal was up 2-0. I threw a live bet on plus 600 for the Tampa Bay Lightning to win. Freaking pulled it out. Came back 3-2. Freaking $10, 160. And then the next game, Oilers up 2-0 against the Ducks. I told Drill we're sitting on the couch about to go to bed. Threw another $10 on the Ducks money line, live bet. It was plus 400. Made a quick $400 on a couple comebacks, or excuse me, a quick $100. But Ferg, just had to share that win with you.
Love it, man. Love it. Keep those coming. And as for sharing wins, my boy Matt Pulse, I know him through work, and he's got a pulse on the betting game right now. I'll tell you what, he has hit a couple of bangers and shared them with us on our socials. So big shout out to Matt. Thanks for showing us your bets. We love seeing those juicy bets.
We sure do. We sure do. Well, Ferg, man, it's been a pleasure, and let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks with these NHL and NFL playoffs. Hopefully, your Penguins are still in the hunt, and keep those bets alive, brother.
Let's go, Pens. I agree. And right now they're up 3-2. So Pens are still up as we speak. So click clack. Let's go, Pens. and let's go Sabres. I mean, like you said, let's get that matchup in the Eastern or the Western Conference, or excuse me, that is the Eastern Conference for those two teams. So let's get them in the final. It's going to take a lot for Pitts. So, but man, you're right. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. We got a lot out on the table today. Some good stuff going on in the sports world. Stay tuned to the social channels. We'll be sharing our bets and, of course, some hot comic book posters, if you will. But keep an eye on those socials and tell the bets. So show us what you're working with.
Show us your bets.
Click, clack.
Click, clack. Grill Pop, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what this is. It looks like it just came out of the basement.
Master. Worldwide. Master.